Okay, thank you so much for joining this live session. Yeah, I'd like to welcome everyone today for spending your valuable time to listen to one of our guest speaker. In fact, I think maybe some of you have already met up with Amit Kumar. But today we are going to talk a bit about the update about LDK cloud licensing. Amit has been with Thales for some time. He has very long experience, and I think we are very lucky that today he is investing some time to talk about uh, Sentinel LDK update. Okay, if the session will take about an hour from 11:30 to 12:30, but most likely there will be two parts to it. The first 20 to 25 minutes. Amit will have some slides to share, some high level kind of visual. Then the last 20-25 minutes, there will be a live demo session, product demo session from Amit. All right. And we will leave the last 20 minutes for Q&A. If there is any questions that you would like to raise to Amit, for any commercial questions, you can also post your technical as well as any other questions, whether it's commercial related, on the question box. I will try to raise it up. Otherwise, I will try to connect to the salespeople, Joe and his team, to answer all the questions. All right. So let us welcome Amit Kumar to start his demo session. Over to you, Amit.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and yeah, thanks for joining the session again. So I'm going to start with sharing my screen, and as Michael said, I will share a few slides, and then we will move to the demonstration part where I would like to show the real cloud concept, the POC kind of stuff. So let me share my screen. And Michael, if you can confirm that my desktop and PowerPoint is visible.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, yeah, the screen is there. All right.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So Sentinel LDK, the license development kit, is not a new solutions. It's been here for more than I think 15 years, but it continued evolving. And we used to have a hardware dongle for licensing part. Then we introduced a software license, and this is the new license, cloud licensing, what has been introduced in LDK very recently. It's been, I think, a few months or maximum a year. And this is what I'm going to present and focus in today's session, the new licensing approach, the cloud licensing under Sentinel LDK. So before I move to the agenda, I would like to cover some points that what are the reasons to move the software licensing to the cloud, and there are many reasons. Actually, I have just picked a few bullet points. The reason for you as a software vendor is because now I mean we have been witness in recent pandemic that the everything is going to be digital mode. uh, the environment has been changing from on-prem to like a virtual machine, or also moving to the cloud, where a vendor started delivering the applications via service as a service, uh, or implement in a Docker container or Kubernetes, and all these stuff. So these new and changing environments are being adapted by the vendor, and then the vendor also want to have the control over the licensing, and wants to have some real-time uses collection or insight, how their products or softwares are being used in the market, and also the cross-locking support that they want to implement to offer their applications in wide uh, market range, with a cross-locking mechanism where the application can work with any types of licensing, either it is a hardware dongle or a software license or a cloud license. And Then for the customer, the user, the reason are that they want to use the software from anywhere these days because of the current situations. Many people prefer working from home. They are or they cannot go to the office because of these lockdown stuffs. So they have a need to use the application or software from anywhere that they need, that they want, and also from any one or more devices, like the device in the office, device in the home, device in some other location that they move, and sometimes also via third party service where the customer does not want to maintain the infrastructure themselves and want to move to the cloud so they can easily access the infrastructure and application from wherever they want. So these are the reason for moving the licensing to the cloud for the vendor as well as the user. So this is what I'm going to cover in today's presentation. This is the high-level agenda. I'm going to talk about Sentinel LDK and licensing. Then we will see the cloud licensing architecture, which is introduced in Sentinel LDK solution. And then I will move to show you a demonstration of this CL, and we will end up with a Q&A session. So the Sentinel LDK licensing has been, as I said, from past 10, 15 years, and we started with pretty much the hardware dongle, and this is how we have moved to the digital transformation. We have taken the digital transformation approach until today. So it used to be a very old hardware dongle, the legacy hardware dongle, which required a driver to be installed on the machine. I'm sure that many of you have used it and has been witnessed of it. And then we released a kind of driverless dongle, which is something that you can plug and play. The next step we took as to introduce the software-based licensing that eliminates the need of any physical delivery of the hardware dongle. So the vendor can simply activate the license online or offline and let the user start using the application instantly. And then in a fourth generation, we have brought this cloud licensing, cloud capability, which is called identity-based licensing that I'm gonna talk about today. And the next generation, we are going to introduce this advanced customer portal integrated, some enterprise-related feature within LDK like electronic software delivery and all. So today's session is on this fourth generation topic, which is identity-based licensing and cloud capability.
Sorry, Amit.
Yes,
There's the bottom bar there, right? There's a stop sharing and hide, right? Can you click on the hide button?
sure.
Thanks.
Thank you for reminding. Yeah. So Sentinel LDK is complete out-of-the-box protection licensing and entitlement solution, and we are like a market. We are a market leader in this licensing industry with a 51% of share globally, and uh, and yeah, you can see the statement from Post and Civilian, which is on the slide here. So it's pretty much trusted solution out there since past 10 15 years, and we have more than 25,000 customers using Sentinel LDK globally to protect and license and secure delivery of their application. So let me talk about the protection type, the license key which is available in Sentinel LDK, and the one is Sentinel HL, which is very familiar with most of you. And there are some unique advantage of each and every type of license key, and the advantage of using Sentinel HL is that it offers a highest level of security with copy and IP protection, and it can be portable easily. I mean, you can just take from one computer and go to the other computer and plug and play the applications in a secure mode. It eliminates any kind of installing the runtime because this is a kind of HID key, that you can simply plug and play. And it also supports a wide range of business models starting from perpetual or subscription or pay-per-use and all that. These are these are some unique advantages of some unique and some common advantage of Sentinel hardware dongle. The second type of license key is the SL, which is called software licensing. And this is a virtual key, not any kind of physical dongle. It is a virtual key, uh, which usually install in a customer computer and lock to the computer fingerprint to enable the security policy. And it eliminates the need of physical shipment of the dongle. So this is the unique advantage that your user does not have to wait for these dongles delivery, which takes, I think, definitely some time. And I mean, this situation, in current pandemic situation, it's a lot more trouble to ship these dongles from one location to another location. And yeah, it can be quickly activated and let your user start using your application immediately as soon as they purchase. And it's also very much flexible to deliver compared to the hardware dongle, where you can simply put your activation server and let your user connect to the server from anywhere on the globe and activate this license instantly. So these are some unique and some common advantages that your SL brings. And the third type of license is now the CL licensing, which is also called the cloud licensing, and it is very new, as I said earlier. And some unique advantage of this CL licensing is it is a user-centric licensing. So the license is, first of all, does not contain any kind of physical dependency. So this is also the virtual key, but then it is not getting locked to any specific device, but it is locked to the specific user. So the user can move to one device to another device without carrying any physical dongle or any flash drive, but simply they can go from one device to another device and use the application, because the license is locked to the user. It follows the user wherever they go. And uh, and then you can easily guess that if this is the case, then definitely this is a good solution for any virtual machine or Docker or Kubernetes, because usually the bigger challenges on VM, Docker, Kubernetes are that these kind of environment does not really support the USB dongle anymore, and also locking to these instances are challenging because fingerprints keep changing on these virtual environments. So the best and secure solution for these kind of environment is definitely the cloud licensing, where the license just follow the user and lock to the user rather than locking to a device. In immediate license enablement and control, and can be enabled with existing LDK implementation. These are some common advantages that it is bringing from HL and SL side. And no need for a new implementation. This is very important bullet, because the CL, the new licensing that has been introduced, is fully compatible with the existing LDK APIs. So the software that you have already protected with LDK APIs or envelope, and which is already out there in the field, you don't have to make any changes in that. So you can simply generate a CL cloud license, put it on the cloud server, the license manager, and your application, which is already protected out there in the field, can simply connect and access the license. So these are the three license type with some unique advantages and some common advantages. And today I'm going to talk about the third one, the new one, the Sentinel CL, as I said it before.
Amit, there is a
Yes,
question. Would you like to answer the question first?
I am happy to take if there is a question here.
Yeah, maybe I read the question to you. Yeah,
Okay.
it's from Chris Ryan. Based on the slides, yeah. Okay, the question is, does the Sentinel SL or Sentinel CL support network licenses? For example,
Yes.
5 concurrent users.
Yeah, I get your point. Yes, definitely. So this is the network licensing support is a common, advantage, which is available in all three type of keys, HL, SL, as well as CL. And in today's demonstration, when I show the CL, actually, I'm going to use that network licensing. So yeah, the answer is yes. Okay. So
Thanks,
can I
Amit.
move?
Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks. All right. So some advantage of using the CL cloud licensing is that it follows the user, means that you don't have to lock it to any particular device. Each license is locked to the client identity. So when it says that it follow user, means that you are assigning some user identity. So the user can simply use those identity and access the license from anywhere they want. Uh, ISV has full control over the license all the time. So in case if you host this license manager, the cloud license manager, then you always have the real-time control that you can anytime you can access and make changes in the user's agreement, make changes in the feature or module that you want to offer. So this is one of the very very unique advantages it provides to ISV to have a real-time control over the software access. Higher security on a VM and Docker, of course, because now you don't have to lock it to the device for VM and Docker, which is very challenging. So you put the license in the cloud, and the application can run on VM or virtual environment in a secure way as it is running on a physical machine. So it's just close any security gap between the virtual and physical environment. Easy for end user, almost hands-free installation because they don't have to install any license now. They don't have to carry the dongle. They don't have to install a runtime. They don't have to activate the SL license on their platform. They can simply install application, the software, and start using it by connecting to the cloud license manager. And of course, they will have to use the identity as I explained before. So yeah, put the identity and they can simply connect and access the license. Easy for ISV because there is a user interface in the solution that ISV can simply create or manage those identity for the user. They can simply deploy the license in Cloud License Manager in one click, collect users data in the real time. I think these are really good advantages. I'm going to show that all these points, three points in my demonstration today. So it will be clear what exactly this bullet is explaining on this PowerPoint. All right, so let's see the cloud licensing architecture here, which is introduced in the LDK solution. So you have EMS in LDK, which is Entitlement Management System, and I'm sure that if you are using LDK, then you are familiar with this EMS system. This EMS system is used by ISV to create a product catalog, to create an entitlement, to configure the license module, and also program the hardware dongle or activate the software license. So this is the same EMS now that you can also generate a cloud license. And then there is a second component, which is called the Cloud License Manager. So this Cloud License Manager can be hosted either by ISV, uh, which is, I think, the best way because ISV, as if they want to have the real-time control over the licensing, if they want to collect the real-time users data, then it's best to host it themselves. But it is not limited. Usually, this license manager you can also offer your customer to host it. So your customer, the user, can host it on their preferred cloud or in their data center. So there are both options available. In this demonstration, I'm just gonna show if the license manager is hosted on ISV side, vendor side. So the steps that ISV simply creates an entitlement and product key in Sentinel EMS, just like you create entitlement for hardware dongle or SL. It's the same step that you create entitlement in EMS. Then you deploy that entitlement in the license manager with a single click. So if you remember in the EMS, when you program the dongle, you simply click a burn button. When you activate a software license, you click a button called produce. So there is a third license, produce and push, that you click and it generates a cloud license and simply install it in the cloud license manager directly. And then the third step for ISV is to manage the user identity, create a user identity for a user to access this license. All right. So this is the three-step, the workflow that you need to take. And once this is ready, the cloud license is deployed in the license manager, and you create a user identity and offer this identity to your customer, the user. The user can simply use that identity and run the application on their computer, the desktop application, on-prem application, which is installed on their computer. They simply need to connect to the internet and use the application in an online mode. If the client application, I mean, computer can connect, to the internet, then in the online mode, they can simply use that identity string and connect to the license manager and use the application. So this is the online. So okay, yeah, sorry about the interruption. So yeah, this is online, and the next is, suppose if the client machine is offline, they don't have internet connection all the time, then the option is that the fourth step is that how the application access the license is simply that they can connect one time, and after they connect to the license manager, they can detach the license locally, either to their local computer or laptop, or to the network server, and they can go offline and simply use the application with the local license for a specific period of time. So it also, you can configure that how long they can detach the license and go offline. So based on that configuration, user can simply connect and detach it, go offline, and use the application. So these are the two mode which is supported by this cloud license, and that pretty much cover almost all the use cases that you have.
I
Okay.
mean, there's
Yes.
another question from the platform. Can
Mhm.
I can I can I read it to you? The question.
Yep. Please go ahead.
Okay, it's from Adrian. Yeah, yeah, it's flat key also. Does Sentinel CL can handle software protection based on network domain? Can you see a question?
No, I'm not minimizing my screen.
Okay, let me read it
So
to you. Okay, the
yeah.
question is: does Sentinel CL able to handle software protection based on network domain?
So if I understand the questions correctly, you mean that
For example, then there's another question. For example, users within specific or same network can only access the shared software.
okay, so I think you are talking about some kind of group reservations. If the group belongs to one specific, or if the members belong to one specific group, then they can simply share one identity or something. Or if the user belongs to one specific site or company, then they can simply share one specific license, if that is the question. Okay, I'm just assuming if this is the question, that if user belongs to one specific site, then sharing the identity string, which is very much demanding, and this is something will be introduced in LDK, I think probably in the next version. So that's something already in the queue. But I'm not sure if this is the question that you wanted to ask.
Yes, that's the question according to Adrian.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, this is a feasibility, and I can check back uh, when this is coming. But yeah, this is already. I think this is very much demanding feature. I think we have a few customers in APAC, especially in China, that has demanded this kind of thing. So yeah, I need to check back, and I can answer offline when it is able to support this use case. Okay, so so moving to the next slide, we'll talk about some APIs and the deployment manager. So the first thing is that deployment of the cloud license vendor has no dependency on Thales service, means that you as a vendor can deploy this cloud license manager on your cloud or any public cloud, or you can also give this license manager to the user so they can deploy it on their own cloud or any public cloud. So all these various deployment mode is supported. End user enablement, where vendor managed end user identity via graphical UI, or automate the process via APIs. So both, interface as well as APIs is given for vendor to manage those user identity for CL license. And the application license integration, it is fully supported with existing APIs. So the same APIs which is implemented in your application, it can work with all three types of keys: hardware dongle, SL license, and cloud license. This is what it says, the cross-locking offering. So suppose if you have, if you're selling your application globally, and if you have the user require a different key because of a different situation or use case, then you don't have to maintain a different package or protected software. The same software you can deliver to every client, and based on the use case, you can just enable the license key for that specific user, because all three license tab can be fully supported with the same API or protection mechanism, even envelope, which is a cross-locking support that you can simply protect and offer the product application with all or any three of the keys. So that was the pretty much on the slides that I wanted to share, and now it's time to move to the demonstration. But Michael, is there any more questions that I can answer?
Maybe before we go to demo, there's one more question here from Chris. Yeah, the question is there an option for Thales to host the cloud license manager for ISVs?
Okay, so I'm happy that all the questions are coming, which is already in our roadmap. So yes, the answer is yes, but it's not coming this year. Right now, only two options available, that either ISV can host or their user can host, and the third option, hosted by Thales, is coming next year. I think probably in the Q1. So I can share the exact date offline with you, Michael, and you can share with them who asked the question.
Okay,
Edwin. Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Okay. All right. So let me jump to the demo, and then I will come back to summarize the today's session. Okay. So I'm just assuming that most of you are already familiar with Sentinel LDK UI. So you must be knowing that there is a vendor suite and there is a EMS, and you might be seeing probably my EMS and vendor suite looks different because I have recently upgraded my LDK to 8.3, which is a new version available on our portal, customer portal. So if you have not downloaded yet, I would recommend that you go ahead, download, and upgrade your existing LDK instance to the version 8.3, because you will be getting lot many cool features which is introduced in this. Okay, so the protection mechanism I have used in this demonstration is just envelope. So I have opened the envelope, and I have protected one of the application. For example, if I add and this bounce program, I have already protected with some feature ID 45. So I have the application protected. I'm not going to protect it again. And I have given this application, the protected application, to my user as an example. And in this case, the user is simply my virtual machine. This is the user machine, and here is the protected application which is installed on the user's computer, the desktop. And this is protected application which is protected with feature ID 45, and right now I do not have any license available. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a license for this user, and the license will be the cloud license this time, not hardware dongle, not software license, but the cloud license this time. Okay. So if you remember, if you use LDK, then you know that the license generation is a part of entitlement management system process. So I'm going to log into this Sentinel EMS, And I'm going to generate a license. But before I go and generate a license, let me show you a few configuration options that you can make if you want to generate a cloud license. So you can go to this administration console and open this console. And two of the things that you have to do here is that go to this license configuration and enable this cloud licensing. So now if you are using 8.3 or even 8.2, you can see this option under admin console that there is a cloud licensing. So you can enable, you can disable, that there is option leave as it is. So just enable this. And the second, which is optional, well, this is mandatory. If you want to generate a cloud license, this option, this configuration is mandatory. The second configuration is optional, but I'm going to show you is that put the URL of Cloud License Manager. So in case if you are hosting as an ISV, you are hosting the license manager for your user, then suppose if you put it on the public cloud or in your private cloud or in the data center, you can simply put the URL of that cloud license manager. And the reason for putting this URL is that when you generate an entitlement, you can simply click a button and push the license to this cloud license manager. If you do not use this URL here, then you can still generate the license, but that will be some manual process. So just to make the easy deployment, and if you are hosting yourself, then it's best that you simply configure here, and after that you can generate entitlement and push it automatically to the cloud. So I just click save and go back to now creating a feature, creating a product, and creating an entitlement, and run the application with the cloud license. So the first step is create a feature. I have already created feature ID 45 that you can see here. This is the feature that I have used to protect my application. So this feature ID 45 is already generated, but it is not deployed yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a product and deploy this feature ID. So the next step is to go and create a product. So my product is LDK CL, and the license type should be the SL, because this is the same license type, SL admin mode. The only difference is that if you remember in admin console, when I enable the cloud license, after that, if I simply use this SL admin mode, then it will become a cloud license rather than becoming a traditional SL license. So that is the only difference. Then I add the feature ID 45, and I configure the license here. So any type of the license, it's supported, so you can use. I'm just going to use the perpetual license here. Then enable the concurrency, the network seats, and I can specify the network seats, like for example 15, and I can configure count each instance as a station or login or process. I'm just going to leave a station, and I am going to also allow the detaching, so that if there is any network disconnection or problem, the license can be simply detached to the local computer, and my user can go offline and use it for a specific period of time. And that's all the pretty much configuration that I need to make. And then I click save, and I click save as complete. And the last step is to create an entitlement. So I go to the entitlement and I click on new entitlement. I select my customer, which is suppose John Smith, and I select the product key. And these are the configurations, how many product key I want to generate, activation per product key. I'm going to leave it and then add a product. So the product is this LDK CL, which I created just now. And here you see the new button, produce and push. So if I click this button, what happens is that the license will be generated and it will be pushed to the cloud license manager, the URL that I had configured in my admin console. So let me show you that. This is the cloud license manager. This is the URL of the cloud. where this license manager is installed. So I'm just accessing it through the web browser. So this is the cloud license manager. So if I generate the license, it will be pushed to this license manager and will install it automatically. So let me go back to the product, and these are the current products available already in my license manager. I am just gonna add or push the new product license. So let me go back to the EMS and click this produce and push button, and I see the message successfully produced. And if I come here, you see the LDK CL has been installed in my license manager automatically. So everything is set now. I mean, the license is generated, and the license is installed or deploy in my cloud license manager. The last step, what I have to do is to create a user identity so that my user can simply access this license from anywhere. So the user identity I can do under this cloud license manager itself. And this cloud license manager is protected. So if, I mean, as you can access it, it does not mean that anyone can access it, even if it is deployed in the cloud. I mean, they can simply connect to the license, but they cannot access this portal to make changes, because you can password protect this portal. So there is an option that you can even simply disable the portal for outside access or simply password protect. So only you have access to this portal, and only you can configure or create all those identity string and manage the user identity. Okay, so as a next step, let me go and manage or create the user identity so my user can access this license. So okay, so one more thing is that there are many license available in my machine, and because if I am an ISV and I am hosting this license manager for my users, then suppose I have 10 users, 100 users, 1,000 users. So it depends how I want to configure. Maybe I just want to give each and every license key to separate companies. So for example, I can simply assign that, okay, the license under this specific license key belongs to company A. The license under this specific license key belongs to company B. So for example, I'm just going to use this license key because this is the latest one and it has the product LDK CL to the customer Peter, sorry, or John, whatever the name was. And I'm going to create an identity for the user. So user can simply access only this specific product and license, not other product and license which is installed in my other keys. Okay, so I can use this key ID for that purpose. So I can simply copy it and I can use this key ID. So let me go and create an identity now. So that is a part of this configuration. And here you see the client identities. So I can add new client identity. And this license is issued to, suppose, company A. And I'm going to limit to the key ID, which I copied. And that would be just ID, not all these things. So just key ID. And maximum number of instance is unlimited. So let me explain. If I do not limit to the key ID, then the company A, the client, they can simply use this identity string and access all the license which is available in my license manager. So that is the purpose, that if you want to restrict each and every company to a specific key ID, which is, I think, the best way to manage, then you want to limit it to key ID, and make sure that all other licenses that you generate for company A, always you deploy under this key ID, which is you can easily manage through entitlement management system. Okay, and unlimited means that the user does not have any restriction for number of machines that they can run the application to, but they will have restriction that only one machine will run simultaneously, and that is the characteristics of cloud license. That if I am the user right now, I am at my home, then I can simply run the application from my home computer. If I go to office, I run from that computer. If I go to some third location, I run from that computer. I also have the application installed in my mobile device. So I can simply, I can run the application from my mobile device. So unlimited device, but at a time, only one will, run. So this is one you can do, or if you want to limit the number of device also, then you can simply select the number from 1 to 10. If you want to go more than 10, then why not unlimited? And that is why it is only 1 to 10. And later you can simply give unlimited if you want to give more than 10. And that's all pretty much. You have to and click save. Then it will create a client identity with this configuration. And then you will have to send this string to the user. So there is one step at the user side that I will show. So I'm just going to click copy this string. And after that, I click save. So the client identity is created. Once the client identity is created, you can give the identity string to that user, the company A. And what they have to do is just one step and one time is they go back to the user. So this is the user machine, client machine. And they also have this admin control center. So this is a part of your software installation. You can simply include this UI for them to manage the license that they have purchased from you. And once they open this portal on their machine, they can go to this configuration, this tab, access to remote license manager, and they can do this one-time configuration, put the string, and also the IP address of the cloud license manager. So this is the thing you have to give. And this is one-time setup they have to make on every machine that they want to use the application. Okay, that is one-time setup. And then once they click submit, they can see the cloud license manager appears in their admin control center. They can see the features available 45 perpetual. And after that, they can simply run the application and it will connect to the cloud license manager and application will be running. So license is not installed to my computer here, the client computer, which is a virtual machine. License is in the cloud license manager, but the application, the desktop application, is running on my laptop by simply connecting to that cloud license manager. The advantage, the another advantage ISV have is that ISV can go to his cloud license manager portal and they can see that okay, one session is running, means this specific user is using the application. They can go to the session and they can see all these informations. What was the time they started the application, the total time out. They can also collect the usage log from the field. So there are data like date and time, then IP address of the user's machine, the client identity. They can customize this thing and they can export the data in a readable format. So they can simply know that what a specific time, what a specific feature has been accessed by user A or user B, and these informations are actually helpful to make a roadmap decision and lot many other things. So this is another advantage of the by hosting of license manager yourself. If you give the license manager to be hosted by end user, then actually you do not have access to the real-time uses. But if you host it yourself, you have access to the real-time uses. You have access, control the real-time control over the license and lot many things. And yeah, the next thing, suppose suppose the client cannot be connected online all the time. In that case, they can also detach the license to local computer, as I had shown in my PowerPoint. So I'm just going to show that. So if I go to the product, this is the LDK CL, and I can see the option here, detach. So I click the detach option, and I can specify the duration for how long I can detach this license to my local computer. And this duration I can define uh, from like maximum I can define, which is set by the vendor. I cannot exceed that, which is configured by the vendor, of course. But whatever maximum duration is assigned by the vendor, I can select in that maximum duration for how long I want to detach the license to my local computer. And suppose I just leave it this one and click detach, then it says detach successfully. If I go, now I see there is a local license in my computer, which is a detached license. As you can see the arrow, it has come from the cloud license manager. The product is this. And now if I run my application, it is actually accessing the local license. So here it is accessing the local license. It is not connecting to the cloud license manager anymore. So I can simply go offline and use this application, because I have the license on local machine. So you can configure like maximum duration 1 day, 2 days, something like that. And after I finish using my application, if I connect back online, then I can simply return the license back to the cloud. Click cancel license, and it will be returned back to the cloud. If I do not return manually, then after the duration is over, it will automatically back to the cloud. So yeah, that option is there. But I'm just gonna put manually and click cancel, and it is canceled, and it is back to the cloud. And one thing is that my application continues running, so there is no interruption in the application actually. And yeah, the license is back to the cloud now. This is the two use case that I wanted to show, that either the application can simply connect online and use the license in online mode, or they can detach the license, go offline for a specific duration. And yeah, this is the access log, so you can export and put it in a file in a readable format that can be used by your management team to have some insight on application uses. There are some more configurations. I think we have just 14 minutes left for the Q&A, but there are a lot more configurations. I just leave for the next time, or if you want to play yourself. For example, detachable license, you can configure on-demand detaching, which I showed. On-demand means that user wants to detach, but there is also automatic detaching, means that suppose if user has intermittent connection, then as soon as they log into the application first time, the license automatically detach. Doesn't matter if the connection is there or not, and for a specific period of time. So there are several configuration what you can make. But yeah, this is the concept of cloud licensing that is introduced in LDK, and it covers various use cases as demonstrated in my session today. And with that, I come back to my PowerPoint. One last slide about the summary, and I can quickly go through summary that cloud license is now available in LDK. What you can use, you can simply download the latest version of LDK, and you have the demo batch code. You can simply test the CL license. The license follows to the user, does not lock to a specific device, but follow the user with their identity string. So wherever user go, they can simply take their identity and access the application or license. Full control for software vendor. If you host the license manager yourself, then you can have the real-time control. You can go to the license manager, make changes in the license, add more features, remove any features in the real time. And also you can collect the data uses data in the real time to have insight how your application is being used by the user. It is definitely a secure and reliable deployment for virtualized environment, as we talked many times previously. And it has cross-locking and common APIs, means the application which you have protected earlier with the LDK APIs or envelope, you don't have to make any changes in that application. Simply, you can start offering the CL license, and your application can consume the license in online and offline mode. With that, I end up my session, and thank you for listening to me. And I just open the floor for any Q&A.
Thank you, Amit. Yeah, thanks for sharing the update section. In fact, there are some questions being answered by Tan. I think Tan is helping us to answer some of the questions, but there's one question here from Chris. Maybe you can help to answer.
Sure.
Chris is asking, can the identity string be easily changed?
Usually change means what exactly? Like uh, like suppose if the identity string has been lost, or if the user has left the company and they take their string with them and you want to change.
Okay, what is to stop customers sharing licenses with subcontractors, for example?
Okay. Uh, Well, when I said that, I mean you can have the real-time control. Then this includes in that. So you can simply go to the identity and you can disable the identity. You can edit, make changes. You can delete in the real time. So yes, if any such threat that comes and you see, then you can make changes or put the restriction on the identity string. So yeah, you can. I hope I answered the question, Michael.
Um, yeah, Chris, if you can actually unmute to ask question, if you don't mind. Otherwise, I can still read it out to Amit for you. Yeah, you can just unmute the button. Amit, what Chris is asking is, if a staff leaves and say uses their license, can that be solved without disrupting other users?
You mean that if you have just given one identity string to company A for suppose 10 user, and one of the user leaves the company and take the identity string, then probably they can share with someone else, and then one new user comes to the company A, used to want to give them, but because another user already left and they are still using or sharing with someone, can you change the identity string without interrupting the other user 9 access? Well, uh, that's a tricky questions actually, and that would be a tricky way to control because it's the same identity string which has been shared with all 10 users. So in that case, if one user leaves and take the identity string, then I think you will have to change the identity string itself because that is a kind of example of identity theft. So for that purpose, you will have to change the string, and it's not too complex. Either you can simply disable and add a new string, or change the string and give the string back to the company A so they can configure it. So yeah, I think it doesn't happen very frequently that user leaving and stealing the identity, but in a rare case, if it happens, then you have a way to change the string here. Or if this is the really, I mean, expected case, which is rarely, then the another advice is that you create a 10 different identity string and give just one access. So even under company A, you can create a 10 different identity string and assign to 10 different user. So one identity string belong to only one user within a company A. So in that case, you can simply disable that string if that specific user leaves the company. And I think that would be the best way to manage if you see this rare case happening at some of your client side.
There's another question, Amit, from Chris, Chris Biggers. Yeah. Okay, let me read out the question. The CL approach to identity appears to be single factor authentication. Everywhere else is moving to multi factor authentication. Okay,
And
okay.
mhm.
Yeah, it's that. Okay, it doesn't seem like a question, but it's what the, yeah. Maybe your comment on this?
Multi-factor authentication, I understand. I mean, usually you make a login, then you receive some kind of OTP on the mobile phone and all that. Multi-factor authentication, I know. For this software licensing, it's not actually the multi-factor authentication because probably we have not come across any specific use case in a software industry that requires a multi-factor authentication. For CL, its identity string is enough because ISV can easily, control the string or identity access for the end user. So there is no multi-factor. available right now. But if there is a specific use case that comes up, I think our product management can think of that. But right now, yeah, it's only the identity. In case of cloud, yeah, it's identity string. In case of hardware, software, it is on-prem device locking. So yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's a question from Gerard here. Let me show the question. It says, with the dongle, we buy a certain number of units from Thales as needed. If we move to cloud licensing, what will we buy from Thales?
I think that's a good question. I think answer is that because this cloud license is still a software license. SL key. If you remember, when I generated a product, I selected SL. So you have to purchase SL just like you purchase hardware dongle, or I mean the way you purchase SL if you have purchased already. And I think there is some additional price for you to get that specific module. And once you get that specific module, next time when you generate any SL, that becomes a cloud license. So this is the concept. Now the exact commercial terms, I think I mean maybe Joe can help to answer offline. But yeah, this is the concept. I think. Is that the
Okay,
question? Or
Gerard.
I'm not sure if I answered correctly.
Let's see. Let's see if Gerard answer.
Gerard is asking some questions actually. Yeah. There's another question from Chris. Yeah. Okay, I'm not so sure whether this is maybe I'll read it out. I mean, see whether it's possible for you to answer this. Can we experiment with this feature? Okay, I'm not so sure what feature under demo code already, or does it need to be enabled? What is the pricing model?
Oh, yeah, this feature is available in demo. So if you have a demo batch code, and as I said, I mean, please download the latest version of LDK first, and it is available under demo batch code. So if you notice, I have also used the demo batch code. So you see, I have generated entitlement with demo batch code and product, all that. So yeah, demo batch code is for testing purpose for CL for all. I mean CL, SL, and all.
I mean, there's another question from Gerard.
Mhm.
How does Thales monitor how many CL licenses is issued?
Oh, Thales don't have to monitor that. Sorry, sorry for interruption.
Or maybe you can
Yeah,
stop sharing your screen. I mean, are you still going to use your desktop?
not really. Just
Maybe you can stop sharing.
okay, okay. Let me stop sharing, and then I can answer. Yeah, so Thales doesn't have to monitor how many CL that you generate because, as I explained, that you already purchasing SL license, SL module from Thales, and then you just enable some extra module, additional module, and after that you can generate any SL, and it becomes a CL. It brings a CL properties. So Thales doesn't monitor. Even if in the future, if you host the license manager at Thales side, I don't think Thales will monitor how many CL you generate because the price does not include to the CL that you generate, but mainly SL that you generate. And with additional module, the SL already becomes a CL, the additional module that you pay for. But yeah, I think these are commercial terms. Maybe Joe can help to answer offline and explain it in a better way.
Okay. All right. We have another question, also from Gerard. Is the CL LDK available as a statically linked 64-bit OBJ, or is it only a DLL?
Well, CL is not a DLL or OBJ. CL is just a virtual license file. I think your question is related to the protection that can you protect the DLL and OBJ on various platforms that can connect to the same CL license. If this is the question, the answer is yes, because for protection part, you got APIs, you got LDK, envelope, and you simply implement the protection on DLL or OBJ on various platform. and simply access the CL license, same CL license which is available in the cloud. So if this is the question, then yeah.
On this one, Gerard mentioned is he mean the API.
Yeah. So there are APIs. I mean, for Windows DLL, there is API. For Linux DLL, there is SO. There is API. For Android SO, there is API. This common API. It is a common API with a different library like DLL, OBJ, SO, and all that. So the CL is supported on all that. I mean, there is no specific CL or different CL. It's the same CL license, but you simply implement APIs in your application, DLL, OBJ, SO, APK, and it all connects to the same cloud license manager and access the same license.
Okay. We have another question. Are CL licenses likely to be more expensive or cheaper per user than buying the shell keys? What is the approximate relative cost?
Yeah, great question again. And my answer would be that again, I mean, right now I have not come up with the cost sheet, so I apologize that I cannot answer right away. The approximate relative cost, I think Joe could be able to answer these questions. So maybe Joe, you can take this offline and explain the user about
Yeah,
commercial
yeah.
terms and
I think
cost.
on the chat box, I think Joe is following up on this question. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we don't have any more new questions at the moment.
Yeah, all these are great questions. I really apologize that I did not uh, uh, bring the enough material to answer any questions related to the cost, and that's why I request Joe to answer and explain offline later. But yeah, all are great questions. And if any other questions related to the solution, the feature, the technical, the use case, yeah, I'm still open to answer.
Oh, there's one question from Chris. So the Cloud License Manager is just a configured runtime driver?
Yes, you got it. So it is the same runtime driver that you have been using since long. So if you notice, it is Sentinel Admin Control Center, which is a driver, which is runtime that you install and you access this page. It is the same thing, but now it can be hosted on the cloud. It can be hosted on public cloud, private cloud, data center, everywhere, and there you can configure the CL license.
I think we have answered most of the questions. Wei Yong, did we miss out any question?
No, I already go through that.
I think
with
all
Edith.
done, all question answered, right? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Let's see whether there's one more question. Chris is still typing something. We can still take in one more question.
Yep, sure.
Uh, okay, I think they're just thanking you. Okay, it's not a question.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Yep.
Thanks for the
You're most
presentation.
welcome.
I have okay. So basically, thank you so much, Amit, and thank you everyone for participating in this live session, update session. On the screen is actually my email. If let's say you have any questions and you can't get the salespeople, I mean, you can contact Joe and sales team directly. If you have any further questions, we will bring it up to Amit on a separate session. Otherwise, you can post your email to me as well, my email address or our company website. Yeah, and we will revert back to you as soon as we can. All right. Thank you so much again, Amit, for your time and for your explanation. Yeah. Any last few points to before we end the session from Amit?
No, I really want to thank all the audience for joining and listening to me. And if you have any questions for me, or if you want to discuss any specific use case, then I welcome to set up a call 101, and I would be happy to join and discuss with you. So yeah, thank you again, Michael.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you and have a nice day, everyone. Bye.
Yeah, bye.